So today we're going to talk about family wealth and succession, both the wealth and the succession of the wealth from generation to generation. And we're going to talk about your role, the role of the professional. That's me. My role is to talk about this. So here we go. What we're going to talk about today is helping your clients prepare their children to avoid the disaster that your clients are worried about. And you've probably all heard it. You know, I don't want to raise trust fund babies. I don't want them to blow it all. I don't want. All of those don't wants. Those are the disasters that they're talking about. And it's different for different people. There's not just one set of those things. So how do you help your clients do it? It's pretty easy. The first two steps are really easy. Number one, you ask questions. Ask the right questions and follow-up questions so that you know what it is that they fear. And like I said, it's not the same for everybody. And you have to ask follow-up questions to get down to what do they really fear. Not the big picture, but the little pictures that they really fear. This is where you're going to be listening to understand rather than listening to respond. Then number two, you've got to be able to have the expertise and the tools and everything that they need to get there or to avoid that, whichever one it is. And that can be either because you've got it all or because you've got collaborative partners that can work with you. And the bigger the family, the more complex it is, the more likely it is you're going to have collaboration. So let's look at a couple of things here. And that's why I want to talk about this collaboration thing here right up front, the continuum. There may be some of you right now that are starting to shut down going, oh man, he's going to talk about family meetings, and I don't want to open Pandora's box of a family meeting. I mean, come on. Or I just don't have time to do this. I'm already buried as it is. Okay, so you can do anything you want on this continuum. Anything from just, you're going to introduce the concept and turn it over to somebody else, to you're introducing the concept and you're going to help a little bit. You're going to be up front or you're going to be there all the time, to maybe, you're going to co-lead it and they'll do parts and you'll do parts, to doing it all yourself. It's entirely up to you where you're fit, where your time is, where your expertise is, where your comfort level is. All of that's just, so as you're thinking about this and I say stuff and you go, I don't want to do that, don't worry about it. You don't have to. You just need to bring in somebody else that can do it. Okay? So here's what clients want. We'll run through it really quick. Whoops, they want to be heard. They want to be understood. Those are two different things. I'll explain that in a second. They want to understand how what you're doing is getting them what they want. Now, we think they connect those dots, and they don't. There was a study done when I was an attorney by the Bar Association that found like 60-some% of all estate plans weren't either signed or funded or maintained. And when they asked the clients why, the answer was, well, I understood how it was my attorney's estate plan, but I didn't really understand how it was mine because we didn't connect those dots. Okay? Number four is they want to make sure that their wealth will help and not hurt their children and grandchildren. Now, one of the reasons that's number four is because there's about 20-some% that don't care. There was a study done a few years ago that found, I think it was 24% of affluent clients just didn't care what happened. I mean, my job is to get to the kids. Whatever they do with it, that's up to them. So that's why that's number four. Everybody wants to be heard and understood, but not everybody cares about what's going on with their kids. Number five was kind of a surprise to me when we did the research. They want to have an expert team of advisors. You notice it doesn't say they want to have expert advisors or professionals. They do want to have expert professionals, but they want them working as a team. They want an effective collaborative team, and that doesn't happen a lot. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about in a little bit later on this. So let's go a little deeper on a couple of these. They want to be heard and they want to be understood. They want to be heard, that's the what. That's like if they came in for me for estate planning, they wanted me to know what their assets were and how many kids they had and what ages they wanted. Okay, that's the what. And they want to make sure that I heard what they said and I was doing it that way. Understood means they want you to understand who they are. That's the why. This is why I'm doing the planning the way I'm doing it. And that's the values conversation. You'll hear that in some of the studies. And so those are two different things. And it really came up in a study that U.S. Trust did a few years ago. It's the affluent client family study that they do every other year since I think 2006. Now it's Bank of America's because they bought U.S. Trust. And so they did the study one year, and they studied clients and those clients' advisors. So these are connected. This isn't random advisors and random clients. They're connected. What they found was 34% of the clients wanted to have the values conversation in the very first meeting with their client, with their advisors. And that surprised me. I mean, I knew my clients wanted to have this conversation sooner rather than later, but the first meeting, I mean, that seemed, wow, I mean, I was surprised. The 90% didn't surprise me at all. That's, like I said, most of my clients want to have this conversation with their professionals sooner rather than later. So within the first 3 meetings is what sooner rather than later means. But here's where it gets really interesting. So then that was the client side, then they talk to the advisors. So 89% of the advisors are saying, yeah, we have this conversation with our clients. Okay, that's pretty good. Almost 90% are having this conversation. The problem is, only 55% of the clients know that they're having that conversation with the advisor. So apparently, we're not doing a really good job of this. And not only that, only 55% only 50% of that 55% are satisfied with the conversation. So we're down to 27.5% of the clients are satisfied with the conversation they're having with their advisors. That's a problem. And it gets worse because 49% or 46% of the clients will hire an advisor because they're having this conversation. So this is an important conversation to be having with your clients.